coming up on this episode of Uncanceled Culture. We're talking about Little League World Series, inappropriate student-teacher relationships. There's been a rash of those happening in Texas, and we're talking about young women that are YouTubing. I just had a curious question about that. So all that and more on this episode of Uncanceled Culture. There it is. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Uncanceled Culture. My name is Porky.
I'm the Louie.
And I'm mourning the loss of something today. I don't care. I tell people my tooth fell out. So you might hear a little bit of different sound coming from Porky today.
He might have a little whistle coming.
Yeah.
Little whistle.
I can whistle now better.
He whistles better now. He's got his little space. It's funny, you know. So let me tell you this.
Oh, story.
I got a story.
Story time.
So yesterday we were at our oldest one's. They had a football game, and she's on the dance team. So you know she was going to perform at halftime. So we went from the visitor side to the home side so we could see it better
to watch. Yeah.
Well, so of course they're right there along the sideline, and the teams are getting close to scoring, you know, and so the cheerleaders and the dance team start doing a cheer like, let's go Titans, let's go defense, right? Yeah. And they're yelling. Well, this one guy, older guy, probably in his like 50s, 60s, you could tell he's south side, west side, you know. They were playing Burbank, so that'll tell you something, right? And he starts yelling, trying to yell over the girls. And he's screaming loud and like just trying to overpower them, overshadow them. And so everybody turns around to look at him, and I'm looking at him, and he's just going. And I tell one of the kids, like, man, you know, I mean, I don't like to shame anybody, or I don't like to you know, ridicule people.
Right.
But he was really trying to do a number on the girls, you know, trying to make them look bad too. And so I turned around, I said, man, this guy's loud. I said, it's probably a lot louder because he's got space because he's missing some teeth. So it's just projecting a little bit more. And man, the kids were like looking at me, and I was like, you know what? That was wrong. My bad.
Oh, man.
You know, hey, man, I'm missing it too. Everybody's missing teeth. But it's just, you know, when you got 4 in the front and you can't, you see a bunch of gaps. He was being obnoxious. And I was like, I had to call him out on it.
I can definitely breathe easier if I'm running. There's less space taken up. So, yeah, I might sound a little different. But, so anyway, so what's up, Lou? How you been?
Oh, could be better, man. Could be better. We had our pool playoff this week. And,
God. Wait, let me make sure I hit the right button here. Hold on.
There you go.
There it is.
Yeah. We should have been in the championship, man. We lost 11-10. Dude, we started off to a good start, 5-1. We were out to a great start, and then we went down. We tied it. We went down again, tied it, and then lost on a tiebreaker. That was in one league, and then today we had another playoff for another league, and we got our butt whooped today too. So, just wasn't a good weekend. Well, honestly, I'll tell you this. You know, I know Kranky is like, well, you know, keep mentioning her name, but Sabrina actually had a great. They had their first playoff game this week, and they ended up winning. So now they're playing next week.
You know why? Lou?
Why was that?
Because they practice.
You know, you're not lying. Let me tell you.
They practice.
Here's what I told her today.
Why?
I had a horrible game today, and I told her, I said, you know what? I don't shoot enough, man. I need to shoot more. She's like, how do you figure? You shoot 4 or 5 times a week? I was like, no.
But it's not like how it used to be. Like, remember in the back days, we used to go play softball. Like, we didn't practice for that shit. We just showed up.
Oh, fuck no. About practice.
We're talking about practice, man. Yeah. So we would just show up, dude. We'd get there.
Allen Iverson.
You know, we play at 8. We'd get there like 7:59 and 59 seconds. Yeah. And then show up, everybody trying to put their shoes on and shit. And nobody warmed up.
Game time ready, just running on the field.
Freshly drunk. Everybody was drunk.
Well, everybody's hungover. Then
well,
we play our 8 o'clock game, and then we start drinking right after that, and we were drunk by our second and third game. So but we did good though.
Yeah, everybody. It was always that one loss, and then all of a sudden we'd win like 8, 10
8 in a row. We're back in the championship game and exhausted and drunk.
Exactly, and then we get to the championship game, and they're like, "Hey, you want to play? Nah, we'll take the case."
Yeah, let's split it. Let them take first. We'll take second. We'll take a shirt or towels or a case of beer. Yeah.
How did we get here? Oh yeah, we're talking about pool.
We're talking about pool.
Yeah. But that brought back some good memories, man. Golly.
Yep.
We could talk all day about that shit.
We could definitely.
But what we did want to talk about is Louis he's still got a chance in his pool.
Yeah. So. We play this week for third.
And Sabrina's better because she practices.
Yeah.
So I had a question today, as I usually do, and doing this thing, and then Louis brought up that point too. Doing this podcast, my I don't know what you call it, but like my senses go off when I see something, and I start asking questions. Yep. And that's what happened with the server at the Mexican restaurant and all this other stuff, right? Yeah. And right away I pick up my phone and I'm like,
it's usually things that happen during our week, during life,
normal life.
We want to talk about it.
So I'm getting breakfast ready, right? And the significant other is over there. She's watching YouTube like she always does. And
YouTube.
So we're watching. So she's watching it. And I'm getting breakfast ready, right? And I start seeing this girl, and she's a young lady, and she's just vlogging and like, oh, welcome to my YouTube, blah blah blah. And all of a sudden she's like, I'm going into my sophomore year at USC and this and that and blah blah blah. And snap, like right away, this question popped into my head, and I'm like, okay, how would a parent? Okay, I don't know how old this young lady is.
Yeah, sophomore, she's got to be 19, 20.
She could be 18, 19, whatever.
Exactly.
Right? She's old enough.
Yeah.
I understand. Mm-hmm. But my question was, like, how... I don't have daughters. I have a son. But how would that feel? Because think about it. She's out there. She's vlogging. She's doing her stuff. And I guess that's not the problem. I guess the problem is the content.
Yeah, the information, the details.
The information. She was throwing it out there that she's at USC and she was moving into the dorm and she was moving and that's what really made me think. And of course, I picked up my phone and I said, "Hey," I got a question for Sabrina because she has daughters, right? Okay,
yeah, she's got daughters.
So I sent him the question. And then he also asked his sister.
Yeah,
she's got a daughter.
Yeah, I got my niece.
So this is the reaction that we got, and I wanted to know because I'm not sure how I would feel. Obviously, I don't have a daughter, like I said, but I don't know how I would feel if she was vlogging details and things like that. I mean, because you don't know. You know how people are.
Yeah. I mean, it sucks in the day age that we're in, right?
Exactly.
And you have people that are literally targeting and they're what we would call back in the day shooting your shot. They're literally shooting their shot, but they're looking for details, they're looking for an advantage, they're looking for a way to manipulate, right? So I asked my sister the question, right? I literally asked her, I said, how would you feel if your daughter was vlogging her move-in to college, wherever she's going, letting the world know where she's at.
And wearing sweaters.
Exactly.
And lanyards. Even if she didn't say where she was going.
Yeah, she's advertising it.
She was advertising.
So, I remember moving my niece into her dorm or, her apartment that she was living in her first year of college. And when we moved her in, we took pictures, we did a bunch of stuff, but it wasn't, like, we didn't put a lot out there. Mm-hmm. When I was asking my sister, I said, how would you feel? Like right now, like my niece is going into her senior year. Okay, how would you feel if she's blogging or putting all this stuff out there?
Right.
Even on social media, putting it out there on IG, putting it out there wherever, Snap.
TikTok, everywhere.
Yeah, and so she goes, I wouldn't mind as long as she didn't post what hall or dorm. And actually, I wouldn't want her to post the room in its entirety. Like maybe just show one side of the room at a time, if that, because then people can put things together and figure out the layout of the room amongst other things, right? There's too many crazy people out there. Yep. And some schools are very strict on who is allowed, such as visitors, and there's some that are not. Like where she goes, anybody can go into the dorm. Anybody, right?
It's kind of open.
Yeah, so she's like, so when she moved into her apartment this time, we didn't post what apartment she was in, because we knew that people would know. They put two and two together. Right. They're gonna look at the landscaping. They're gonna look at
exactly.
They're gonna see things. They're gonna say, I know where that's at.
Right.
Especially knowing where she's going. And me and Sabrina were talking about that because I asked her the same question. How would you feel? And we've had this conversation with the girls, right? Don't give out too much information.
Right.
Don't show where you're living. Don't show where you're going. Even when you're out, they like to do TikToks. Even more. They like, don't show where you're at, because guess what? People can just show up.
Even more.
And guess what? They're like, oh, we knew you were here. Or,
oh, you're eating at this restaurant.
Yes.
Oh, what? Oh, I just found you.
And if you're by yourself, you're not with us. Like, there's too many crazy. There are too many sickos out there.
Exactly.
And it's a very delicate. There's a lot of information that you don't want to put out there. And kids, they're naive. They're not thinking that way. They're thinking, hey, man, just showing off, just showing out, And it's not that, man. We literally have to be the protectors, and we have to be able to show them and guide them and show them how to be responsible in that manner.
Yeah, because you do want to get, especially if they're older. I mean, I can understand. You again, I don't have daughters. But if they're older, you want to give them a little leeway, so that way, they can
they're
kind of
discovering who they are,
and and all that. So I can understand, not wanting to maybe get into quote unquote air quotes their business.
Correct.
Because you want to let them live. You want to let them have you don't want them leave me alone. Because you don't want to be on them all the time. But also the part of the reason I had that question is it was kind of weird. I was watching Adam Sandler's movie, the newest one that just came out. Did you see it about the bar mitzvah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, I haven't seen the movie, but I did.
Well, you got to see it. It's actually not bad. I think you guys will like it. But throughout the movie, it was almost like Adam Sandler was trying to send a message, because throughout the whole movie, it's all the stuff that we talk about and how the kids are, and how they respond, and how they're on TikTok, and how they're on this and that. Yeah. So throughout the whole movie, it was just constant, like in your face, like bam, young kids dancing to a TikTok thing, bam, young kids posted on IG, bam, and it was like that was kind of what made me think about that question as well, because they were even younger, in that movie than that girl was, and the one I'm talking about. And I actually saw another one too, and I think she was from Indiana or something like that. And I mean, she wasn't holding back. She was like, I'm in Indiana.
Me and my sister Sabrina, we have a group message, right? And we were talking about one that we saw, and she had brought it up, and she was like, there was one that we were watching, or they were watching, or she was watching, and she was mentioning that this girl had gone live, right? Okay. She had gone live on TikTok, and she's showing some certain things, and all of a sudden this guy gets on there, and as he gets on, he's asking questions. So it was an older guy asking questions, trying to get information. And this is where I'm talking about they're shooting their shot, trying to get all this information. Well, this one, I don't know if it was the mom or the friend's mom or who it was, comes by and notices what's going on, sees this person trying to get the information, right, and goes in there and pretty much is, saying like, hey, who is this person? Who are you talking to? And this guy jumps off the live feed. So you knew that he was literally sitting there trying to find something to be able to, either fish them out, manipulate them, do something. Right. I mean, how many times, I was watching some TikTok videos about something similar, right? And it was both guys and girls. They were targeting teens, 14, 15, whatever they are. And these people are meeting people online, gaming, or on IG or whatever. Hey, come out here. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And they were setting these people up. They were setting the kids up because they wanted to see if they were going to go. Right. These 14, 15, 16-year-old kids showing up to a random apartment, a random place. Oh, and the parents are like, what are you? They're standing there waiting for them to show up. And they're like, what are you doing? Right. We've talked about this. What do you have in your bag? A bottle of wine that they took from, like, bring a bottle of wine. We're going to hang out and have fun. Like, bro, or like they say, bruh, like you don't get it. You can't just be open. You don't know the people that are out there. This might be the last time we ever see you. Right. They're gonna take you somewhere. It's not only girls that get sex trafficked, it's guys too. Kids. It's kids.
Man. Doesn't matter.
Dude, we had this conversation right now, right before we started. the little ones, 9 years old, 8 years old,
Right, yeah.
playing on video games, and
Yep.
they're playing online with people that they have no idea who they're talking to.
Roblox.
Yes,
all
Fortnite.
That. Roblox, Fortnite, all that. It could be
you know,
anybody.
and we hear somebody talking. I'm like, who you play with? My friend. Well,
What
who's your
friend?
friend? I don't know.
Exactly,
That's not
yeah.
your friend.
Right,
And then
yeah.
these people can just literally ask questions. How old
Yeah.
are you? Who are you with? Are your parents there?
Right.
Or, what side of town? What school do you go to?
Yeah, because it's
little information.
just regular banter.
Yeah,
Right?
and these kids don't know any better.
know it. They're just going to talk.
And they're going to ask, even just the question, what school do you go to, is going to give them enough information.
It could tell them the area.
What side of town you live in, what school you go to. They can go over there and track you and follow you back.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of stuff that goes on.
And time again, I mean, obviously, because, since we're on TikTok all the time, our news channel.
Our news.
So I've seen plenty of videos, and it's men and women. They challenge people. They say, okay, I'm going to take a picture, and you get to tell me
where it's at.
where I'm at.
Yes.
And the lengths that these people would go, and
Yes.
the ease
Yes.
that these people would find them. Oh, that house looks like this. I don't know. I mean, I was looking
Yeah.
the video, and I'm like, how the fuck?
There's this one guy that they send a lot of it to.
Really?
And he comes back, he does satellite. He uses a lot of resources, right?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I know you're in Dallas. I know you're here. That building right there looks like this. And I mean,
Exactly.
dude, he'll tell him exactly.
Yeah.
And then where the picture was taken, he tells him, you're standing at this end of the parking lot.
Right.
Like,
Facing
it's that
this way,
easy for
right.
people
Right, yeah.
to find out where
Yes.
you're at, man.
I've seen plenty of videos. I see two particular videos of this lady where the guy was like, I bet you can't find me. And boom, she figured it out. I don't know how long the process is, obviously, because it's a TikTok and it's
Yeah.
pretty fast. But she found him. She found where he was standing exactly, what direction he was standing, where he was facing, the building that was behind him, the building that was in front of him. Like, that's the thing that the kids don't understand.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that they don't understand how quickly things can escalate and how they can get out of control.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's a question. There's a thought for everybody.
Oh, yeah, there's something to be able to discuss. I mean,
Yeah.
not only with other people and get other information, but discuss with your kids,
Right.
because I think this is something that honestly needs to be talked about a little bit more, which is safety. Before it used to be don't talk to strangers.
Yeah.
Right? Don't you would always see those videos with the guy coming up and, hey, I have a puppy, can you help me find my puppy, or come play with them here, or I have candy, little things like that. And now it's evolved to this. It's not so much of them approaching them at a park anymore.
Yeah.
It's now, let me find out where you're
do it
at
on
on a
their phone.
game,
Right.
or whatever you're doing on TikTok or on Instagram. And it's gotten a lot more. Kids are more accessible nowadays.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the
everything's
conversation that needs to have with to have with your kids. Be smart, be wise. Don't share information. When we talk about don't talk to strangers, it's not only outside of the house.
Yeah.
It's also online.
Everywhere.
On your game. Like don't. Sorry, but don't be dumb. Don't be dumb. And we have to teach our kids how not to be dumb.
It's hard to teach.
It is.
Young kids how not to be dumb because they're accepting the world as it is. Right, and they think that I don't know that. How am I trying to say is like, okay, they don't know when they're that young.
Yeah.
They're just gonna be like, oh, you have a puppy?
Yeah, naive.
Oh, I'm just gonna, and that's when stuff happens.
and
Like,
they just
and I brought up the point, obviously bringing up a young adult woman, but as you mentioned, it could be anybody.
Yep.
It could be a dude. It could be a 19-year-old dude, and all of a sudden some weirdo shit, weird ass can find him, and then who knows what the fuck.
There's no age limit right now on people that are
really,
being targeted.
And then that was my thing was that, okay, well, it was just a young girl, but as we were having this conversation, I'm like, it could be.
It could be
anybody.
an 8-year-old. It could be a
Fucking
19-year-old.
anybody.
It could be anybody. Honestly, how many missing people in San Antonio have we seen in the last year?
Yeah.
Ranging from 16 to 26, 29.
Yeah.
There's people going missing all the time. And, sometimes they're found. Sometimes their remains are found. Sometimes they're never found.
Never found.
You know that I have a friend, and it's crazy. I have a friend whose sister-in-law went missing, and probably like 20 something years ago.
Really? Wow.
She went missing. She had gone to go shoot some pool at a bar on the west side. and apparently gave some guy a ride home,
Oh.
and had called her fiance and told him, hey man, I'll be home in a little bit.
Right.
Never made it.
Wow.
They never found her car. They never found her. She's been missing for years, and every once in a while they got tips and stuff. It's crazy because they know that the person that she gave a ride to is probably involved.
Right.
They set up a meeting with detectives one time, and they went to the police station to have this, because they had gotten some new tips.
Right.
When they get back, their house is ransacked.
Holy.
It's to a level, and this girl was probably in her late 20s when she went missing. Maybe even maybe 30.
30.
But so there's no age limit, man.
Oh yeah.
There's no age limit, and this was years ago. So imagine now.
Yeah.
Imagine now, and the accessibility wasn't that great then.
They're even more accessible.
Yes.
Easily
Yes.
accessible to catch anybody,
Yeah.
man. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, guys. I mean that's like I said, doing this podcast, it's really got me thinking about a lot of things, and it all tied in. Seeing that movie, the Adam Sandler movie, went into the next morning when I saw that.
Yep.
And so yeah. I mean, let us know what you think. If you have a young daughter.
Do you have a story?
Well, you have a story. Like, what lengths have you gone to try and protect? Or what has happened?
Yep.
Because I mean, I really think I again don't have a daughter. Say it again, but I think if I had a daughter, I mean, I don't know how protective I would be of her. Like, it would be overboard. Probably.
So I always mentioned I don't think I was like I make boys. Okay, I've always said this.
He's a boy factory.
I'm a boy factory, right? I used to say, man, if you needed a boy, I'll hook you up, right?
Bring it on.
But
take a number.
I always said that I don't think God wanted me to have a girl.
Yeah.
Because of how I was with girls before. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because honestly, I would get that in return 20 times, and I wouldn't be able to handle it.
Right.
So, but however, I have had a stepdaughter, right? And then now I have two more.
Yeah.
Right. And believe me, to the level of like you said, to the level of the protection, you have no idea how many times I've probably said some inappropriate, not to them, to friends, right? To boys trying to court them, or what I've said to the point where it's like I probably scare them off, right? I've done some stuff that I probably was borderline illegal, but it's to send a message, because I as much as I'm overprotective of my boys,
right,
dude, I'm that much more for the girls, right?
Yeah.
And it's just you have no idea until you deal with it.
No, I don't.
And it's like, dude, like, oh man, I gotta lock myself in my room. I gotta pop open another can sometimes every once in a while, pour out a shot. Like, it's just it's difficult, man.
Right.
And you know what? It's not only the protection, but it's also whenever they have those heartbreaks, whenever they have a disrespect, whenever they have something go on, and it's like, then you have to be there and be the soft space for them, right? Yeah, mom does that too, but you have to be the soft space for them. And then it gets you even more angry, because you're like, well, I want to go get this little boy, and again, they're underage.
Come here, you little shit.
Yeah, so
yeah,
bro, it's tough having girls, man. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely glad I had a boy.
However, I do know what they're thinking, so I know how to head them off before.
Right. Yeah, I think we all know how it is.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Yeah, we were shits ourselves.
So be very, very aware, little boys. Well, there's no pop on the beer because I already opened that son of a bitch. And I'm already drinking it.
The conversations that happen in between.
Oh, my goodness.
It's just, and I realized it too, but I didn't say anything, because we were talking and all of a sudden I heard, and I was like, okay, I guess he's not waiting.
The conversation was so good. I ended up popping the beer before the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
And we had no Papa Top for this segment, but it's okay. At least I'm drinking.
He was like,
Dos Equis,
oh shit. I heard an oh shit. And I was like, yeah, he realized. Yeah, he finally realized.
I realized I didn't have a Papa Top moment.
Oh,
it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, so the Little League World Series was going on and actually just ended a couple of hours ago on a walk-off home run, which I didn't see it. Unfortunately, that sucked. So California ended up winning on a walk-off in the bottom of the sixth. My thing is, I think we were more, well, I don't know about you, but I was more, might have been more involved in the CYO.
I was.
Than regular Little League.
Yeah.
I was more in the Little League. I did play CYO a couple of years, but more or less I was involved in the Little League. And we just happened to have a Little League down there that they opened up down there on the south side, which of course is way gone. I mean, because the only one that exists is Five Diamonds. Everybody knows Five Diamonds.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, watching the World Series, and I'm watching these kids, and and I've heard a lot of shit. I can go into a bunch of other shit, but my main thing is okay, so these kids work hard. A lot of people don't understand that they're actually all-stars. So when you go through, when you finish the playoffs or whatever, and then they what happens is they get an all-star team together, which is basically one kid from every team or however many kids from every team or whatever. Anyway. So you go through regionals, you go through state, you go through regionals, and you do all this stuff to get to the Little League World Series, right? Okay. So the whole point of the Little League World Series is if you lose 2 games in your little, round robin or whatever,
you're playing,
you're pretty much done.
Yeah.
There's no way for you to come back. If you lose 2 games, you're basically out. You're guaranteed 3 games, I think, basically.
Yeah.
Anyway. So my point is...
So it's your pool play, and then you have your bracket and all that.
Yeah. So my thing is, right, there's one team, like the Texas team, they won, and they actually beat California, early. I think it was their first game or whatever. So they beat California, and then, of course, Texas keeps playing, and they win, and they keep playing, and they win again. And basically they got all the way to the U.S. championship without losing a game.
Mm-hmm. And then they lose.
Right. So, and that's my point.
It's
that's my
you don't
question.
get double dip because you're undefeated.
My question.
That would be mine too.
Is my question with the Little League World Series because I understand all this fair play and all that, because that doesn't bother me. It bothers a lot of other people. I mean, all these people, they're the ones that have, they're the ones that pay $3,000-$4,000 a month to go travel ball and all that shit. I don't care about that. But my thing is if it's really a fair play, why is it that this Texas team, and not just because they were from Texas?
Well, I mean, we're a little biased.
Yeah, just a little bit.
No, California, my Texas.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they
did
beat the shit out of them. Yeah, they toppled them. But my thing is, they won all their games. They did not lose one game till they got to the U.S. championship. California had a loss, right? And again, once you get 2 losses, you're pretty much eliminated from contention, right? So California was that loss. Their loss was from Texas. And since then, they won, I don't know how many, 3 or 4 games in a row after that. So they get to the U.S. championship, play a Texas team that had not lost, and they beat them, and now they get to go to the World Series, to the final.
I mean...
So... It's something.
Is it fair?
It irked me.
Is it fair? Right. That's the question. Is it fair?
Is it fair? Because it really bothered me when and every year it's the same way because they kind of change the rules every now and then. But I'm like, why the fuck did it? It just hit me now.
So you get into like you said. So you have your pool play. I mean, your pool play, right? Which is basically like a round robin. So you have to play your teams, your guaranteed games.
Yeah.
And then they go from there, they go to seeding and then to bracket play. So then bracket play, that's where you have your knockout rounds now. Right. Which is basically like the World Cup, the FIFA, all that other stuff. It's basically the same thing. You have your knockout rounds. But you're right. How fair is it to have a team that has a loss? I mean, like me, I shoot a lot of pool, right? So I'm always in pool tournaments. And
He's always playing with his balls.
most playing with. I'm not gonna go there. I'm not Roger. So, but you think about it. If you have no losses and you have somebody that has one loss and they're coming back up, basically a loser's bracket,
exactly,
kind of type of thing.
That's what it is. And
you get to the champion, and it can go for anything. You think about any sport, but you have a loser's bracket and a winner's bracket, and you're kind of coming back up, and you win. Shouldn't you have to double dip them?
Right.
Shouldn't you have to beat them 2 games?
Right.
I think it would be fair too.
Coming from years and years of playing softball, where it was like, fuck, once you lost that first game, you were fucked because you were going to end up playing 4, 5, 6 games almost in a row, kind of, and you're the one that has no break. Even meanwhile, the team that hasn't had a loss gets to sit out, 2-3 hours before they play again, I mean, maybe it wasn't that long, but anyway, you get the gist. So my thing is, like, is it fair? Like, is it fair for someone that had it, and I wouldn't say easy, I mean, because they beat California, and obviously California came back and beat them, but the road to get to the final, it kind of sucks for them, because now it's either, you're one and done now. Yeah. But yet the California team
already has a loss.
Yeah,
and now they're playing for the championship.
Right. So is it fair? Like, well, I was bringing up CYO, and I'm just saying because it's a different experience.
Yeah,
it's not. Yeah, it's not exactly like Little League.
Well, you could steal in CYO.
Yeah, and things were different. But I guess my thing is like, okay, well, Little League has its own thing, and then somebody was complaining about, because now, and like I said, they always change the rules. It's a continuous batting order.
Oh yes.
So it's a continuous batting order.
But they just changed that, right?
That was this year.
That this year.
That was this year.
Yes.
So the rules previously were kids had to either or they had to bat or play in the field. And play in the field, I think. That was a rule.
Yeah.
So if they didn't do that, then there was a violation of the rules, and the team would get they would get a loss.
Correct.
So that's what last year. Now this year, they didn't have that as far as being on the field. Now they just had a continuous batting order.
So everybody gets to play.
Everybody bats.
Yes.
They may not get onto the field necessarily.
But that's their way of playing.
But
everybody
that's
at least
the fair
gets
play.
Yeah, everybody gets at least an opportunity.
That's exactly.
And it's funny because, the twins, we had the little ones that were in they were playing Pony League.
Okay.
And
Pony League is way different too.
Well, yes, it is. Because it's more like MLB.
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
You can take a lead, you can steal, you can do all that.
Right.
However, they had the same rule where you can actually bat everybody. You can bat everybody if you wanted to. You didn't have to.
Right.
But if you wanted to bat 11, you could bat 11.
Right.
That way everybody got a chance to hit. And then if you wanted to sub them in and play, they could. And of course, just to be fair, they would. But I was like, that's not... To me, I'm thinking, no, man, let's start teaching them, hey, if you want to get on the field, put the work in and practice, right? And I get it, 8, 9 years old, 10U, you're playing 10U. You're trying to teach them the game. Some of them haven't played. But I'm like, it takes away from them actually putting in work and practicing.
Yeah.
So we had 2 little ones that were playing. One of them was... Dude, literally sitting in here, throwing the ball against the wall, had the ball with the rope, like practicing catching and throwing. And the other one could care less.
He was in right field playing with the flowers.
No, literally, right? The butterflies. And I'm like, you can see the difference. So it does, you put in the work, right?
Right.
Then you get playing time.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, man, I think you're just taking away, this is where the participation thing, what I want to say, who was it? Mike Taylor from San Antonio, right?
Yeah.
He called it the wussification of America, the United States. You're giving everybody now, everybody gets a participation trophy or ribbon or an award. And it's like, where do you push them and tell them, you want to play, put in the work.
You got to work hard.
You got to work hard. You don't see them giving diplomas to everybody. Right. It's a participation. Here you go, because you went to high school all these years. Right. But if they didn't do the work, they don't graduate. I mean, it's not a participation award.
Yeah, that you actually bring up a point, and that was kind of what made me think, because there's, like I said, there's other rules, and that was the biggest change. And this guy was very upset, and I don't remember if it was on Facebook or TikTok, but he said the same thing. He's like, basically, you just turned it into a participation thing, where everybody gets to play. Which, back in the day, there were some kids that sat on the bench, and they might have gotten a chance to bat, but they definitely didn't get on the field.
Yes.
So, and that's what that was his point, was now with this continuous batting order, now you just basically turned it into a participation thing, and it's like, here you go, you can bat, but I don't know. I was on the fence about it, to be honest with you, because I like Little League. I like. I haven't had much experience with Pony. I'm sure they're different.
Yeah, they're
but,
different.
It irked me enough to bring that up. And I said, if I'm not mistaken, way back in the day, they used to have to double dip.
Yes.
And I think they changed it.
They changed it.
So, and that goes back to the participation thing because, you got to give
everybody a fair shot.
Everybody's got to get a fair shot.
But I'm just thinking, if you want to do a fair shot, then you got to double dip the undefeated team.
Why not?
Yeah,
exactly.
I got to help out a little bit, right, with the whole Pony League thing,
God.
And it just revived something, right? And you're sitting there, and that's not the way. This is how we, you get that whole thing, right? It's all coming back to me, and I remember, my old coaches and smacking me in the head, and little things, right? It was fun. So I was kind of reliving all that. But speaking of people that put in the work. Did you see that little girl from Tennessee?
Oh yeah.
Man, Stella Weaver from Tennessee, man. So
believer.
She was also the pitcher. She was also she started one of the games. She didn't do good. She didn't get rocked.
No,
I think she gave up a couple hits, and then right away they pulled her out, right? But that she's the first girl in Little League World Series history to have 3 hits in a game.
3 hits, yeah.
Man, this girl, and her hits were freaking solid, man. She was literally hitting line drives.
No little dinkers.
Man, she was doing good.
Yeah,
she was doing good.
She did.
And she was a good pitcher. Yeah. I think she just faced a team that was a little tougher. Well, and it wasn't Texas, was it, that she played?
It might have been.
Because it was possible. Southwest. I think she was playing against Southwest, so Southwest would have been Texas.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and like you mentioned, Texas was actually rolling through the bracket.
They
until they got to California the second time.
But they brought up a good point during the games, is that not that they lose on purpose, but it's just the fact that now your back's against the wall. Mm-hmm. So now you got to keep playing, right? Yep. So you're playing and playing and playing and playing, and he goes, and those teams get into a groove.
Yes.
And that's what that California team did. They lost to Texas, and after that, they steamrolled everybody.
Everybody else.
This dude was like 13 for 16, for the whole thing, and I'm like, man, they literally, But hats off to California, I guess. I mean, they won.
You asked the question, is it fair, right? I'm gonna answer the question. I'm gonna say no. I'm going to say no.
Yeah, it's not.
And it's not being biased, but then if I'm going to be biased, well, you screwed my Texas team. So, there's 2 no's.
Well, fuck you, California. Yeah. Motherfuckers.
Damn it. Now, sticking with Little League World Series, I knew, I think we were just going to touch on this, but I think it's a good story to mention. The Cuba coach.
Yeah, that's true.
The Cuba coach.
That's right.
The heck?
Now, this is the first year that Cuba has been in the Little League World Series.
They renewed their relationship back with the Little League World Series.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's been a while since they've been gone.
Oh, yeah.
So they're back, and this is the first year. And then Cuba makes it to the knockout round. And the day before their game, the coach is seen on video leaving the hotel, getting into a vehicle, and now he's missing.
And now not coming back?
He's gone. Yeah, he's not gonna come back, guys.
At that point, he was missing.
They're saying it's too early to say if he actually defected, right? I mean, we actually hope nothing happened to this guy,
right?
Right?
Yeah.
Apparently, he's been here, or he hasn't been here. His some family had been here.
Oh, okay.
Right,
yeah.
But he's been here, of course, because of that. And so now they're like, well, was he trying to escape? Was he trying to come to the U.S.?
Yeah.
Is he trying to go somewhere else?
Right.
And so, of course, me researching, I found that there was some other guys, right, that played in the
World Series Classic.
The World Championship,
right.
Or World Classic, right?
World Classic.
And he was from Cuba. Came, they played. They were done, and all of a sudden he went gone.
He disappeared.
And next thing they know, he's playing in La Liga Mexicana in Mexico. And
Alabing,
you know,
Alaba,
so they're
Alabing,
like, we don't
boom.
want to say that he actually defected. They're talking about the coach now, but you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah, I want to say that dude's not going home.
I think that's the more likely story on
Yeah.
this. It sucks because they weren't doing bad.
Well, they were okay,
You know,
but,
and he didn't make it to their game, which was an important game because it was a knockout round and they lost.
yeah.
So not only are they going back, but now he's gone and
He's gone.
they don't know where he's at.
Yeah.
So, oh man, just crazy stories that come from. I don't know. You see the kid? I don't think he played in the Little League World Series, but that kid that was on the U.S. team. You see
The
that 12-year-old?
12-year-old dude,
The one that's like
my
6'2", 280
He's
pounds.
like a mini Frank Thomas.
Yeah,
yeah.
This
a
little
mini
kid was
Frank
crushed.
Thomas.
You know, and I think didn't we talk about that? I think we had it on our group. I think we shared the video.
Yeah.
He hits a home run, and all the opposing players are coming and giving him a high five, and it's like,
He was like a giant.
like he's the opponent, guys.
Yeah.
You know,
No.
why are you going? I mean, we get, you know, the respect level. We get the what is it called? Like,
They were a little starstruck, maybe.
I
No?
think so.
Starstruck?
I think so. You know, there's a difference between good sportsmanship,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And going over there and being on his jock because
Right.
this dude's crushing balls.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, let me go give him a high five. No, man. Next time he comes up, I'm gonna hit him. Or, you know, I'm gonna pitch outside. I'm not gonna give him something to hit.
No.
This dude
I would
was
walk
crushy.
him. I'd walk him.
Yeah.
Walk him every time.
Yeah.
So I actually bring up another point. Then let's look at the flip side. Now, you know, when we were playing, there wasn't really, at least from what I remember, there wasn't so much what they call hot dogging going on back then.
Correct.
There might have been, but now
Bat flips.
seeing, yes, and bringing up the regionals and all that to get to Williamsport, there was a individual that might have taken it a little bit too far. He smacked a home run, did his little bat flip thing, you know, and he's running around the bases. He gets to third base, and he does his little, what I know what you call it, like yoga pose. I don't know what it is. He literally sits on third base, crosses his
He did
feet.
it was the Yoda. It was the Yoda. That's what he was doing.
He sits on third base and does the little Yoda thing, and then he goes home and he celebrates, you know, with his kid, with the team and everything. Well, don't you know they fucking lost? So that's a little redemption in my mind for being a jerk.
Well, you know, man, I honestly, so, you know, I know that MLB for a while, they were really trying to cut down on that. You know, NFL did it for a while too.
Yeah.
And, you know, people started calling it the no fun league and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And then baseball was kind of, they were trying to, you know, but I think baseball, they police it themselves.
There's rules.
Right? So there's unwritten rules.
Unwritten rules,
So
exactly.
we did the air quotes here.
Yeah,
unwritten rules
exactly.
that, you know, you get a guy that's showboating and you don't like that, you're going to beat him the next time he comes up, right?
You know what's going to happen.
You're going to give him some high chin music.
Yeah.
Right?
Anybody that's heard a Will Clark story.
Oh, my goodness. If you haven't, you need to go and
look
find
for
this
those
guy on
stories.
TikTok, man. Go look at those Will Clark stories. They
Those
would literally,
are fucking
they were throwing
badass.
at people.
Those
They were throwing at people.
Badass stories,
Yeah.
dude. That's like how they talk about the NBA back then,
Exactly.
and now it is now.
Yes.
Well, that's how the MLB was back
Yeah.
then.
Oh, they were
You didn't
throwing
fuck
at
around.
people and you were fighting.
Oh, they would throw it at your head. Yeah.
But, and you know, the thing is, I think we have to blame it on that because if you see the MLB players doing it,
yeah.
of course, you know, it's just like in basketball. When we saw the video, I think we shared the video in our group as well. There was this little kid shooting threes, and he's, you know, doing all this little showboating,
Right.
You know, and ends up what happens? One of the kids gets mad and ends up wanting to fight him at the end.
Yep.
Well, this is what you're getting now in baseball.
Yeah.
Now we haven't seen any retaliation in the Little League World Series.
No.
But I bet you we see it next year. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
Because you have these kids that are emulating everything that they're seeing on TV, bat flips,
Yep.
you know, the spins. I mean, dude, we had some hot doggers in MLB, right? We had Ricky Henderson, you had Barry Bonds, you had their little
dude.
turns, you had the tapping of the glove, which I
Exactly.
took from them,
Yeah.
right? And I used to do that in the outfield and get people pissed off.
Stallions, baby.
And, you know, we started fights too because of that. But you see these people emulating these things and these little kids, 10, 11, 12 years old, emulating
Exactly.
these things. And guess what? It's going to get to the point where people are going to get tired of that crap. and people are gonna start getting hit.
Yeah.
You know,
that's the thing that I think a lot of parents now don't understand. It's like, if you get the parents. Oh man, that's a whole completely different thing. The way the parents are, because you see it all over TikTok too. How these parents act.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes you think like, okay, well, if the parent acts that way, then it's no fucking wonder that the kid acts that way. Like, come on.
Well, you saw the video, the one about the shortstop mom, the shortstop parent.
No,
it's like the parents going crazy and yelling and screaming, and they're like, "We're gonna see this. What position did your kid play? Shortstop. Oh. What's his last name? This. Okay. What's the coach's last name? This. Okay, that's the coach's son. We know who they are. Yeah. Like, they know because of how they act. And you're right. Those parents, they take that to another level. And if the parents are acting like that, the kids are acting like that.
I mean, the kid that sat on
you're literally enabling the kid.
Exactly. That's the guy that sit on third base. I mean, who does that?
If I was the umpire, I'd have thrown him up.
I would have fucking. If I was the coach, I would have sat his ass.
Oh yeah.
That's how stupid it is. It's like, how does a coach even allow that to happen?
Yep.
For real, like.
I mean, honestly, if we would have done that, what would have our coaches have done? They would have pulled us to the side and said, "Cut that crap out," or you know what, go sit on the bench.
That.
And you're gonna think about that. You're not gonna play.
They pulled us out.
Yeah.
They probably would have pulled us out.
Yeah, but
Simple as that.
That's exactly where. I mean, and I get it. We were having fun, and we want them to have fun. But I think there's a line.
There's a line. There's a boundary.
There's a line between fun and taking it to another level that's gonna cause some drama. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, like we talked about in softball, when I would do that crap, we had people that wanted to fight for me tapping the glove or shooting a little gun and putting it in my holster because I threw somebody out. I was like, or me running around the bases high stepping, and they're like, "Oh, this guy thinks he's hot stuff." And they would literally throw a ball at you. Yep. They would, They do it on purpose. They do it on purpose. And I think you're going to get to that level, and then you're going to have parents that are upset because they're targeting these kids now. Yeah. But why? Because you allowed them to act the way they act.
And the parents shouldn't be surprised if that shit happens, because you see it all the time. That's when they turn into Karens. I would tell the kids,
well, be ready to get a ball to the head.
Exactly. That's going to happen all the time.
Look at Will Clark videos.
Then you got... Karen parents over here getting all pissed off. I'm like, you let your kid do that shit.
Yep.
Louis brings up something because obviously we used to play softball back in the day, and we used to play in this thing called a Super Series.
Yes.
So the Super Series was a big tournament, and there was teams from all over Texas, everywhere, Austin, Dallas. They all would come wherever it was, and the whole thing about it was that you had to travel different places, right? So if you would get so many points just for even showing up, and it could be in Austin, it could be in Houston, Dallas, wherever you went, you would get points, and of course, if wherever you finished, you would get points too. Well, they had one here in San Antonio, obviously. And I don't know if Louis remembers it, but we used to do it a lot.
Yeah.
But we were playing in a game, and the game got real close. And I don't know if it was a base hit or something, and I scored or tied the game, and Louis was behind me, and he got a base hit, and I scored or whatever it was, and we used to do the dirty bird.
Yes,
you remember that? We used to
do the dirty bird.
So you would score, right, and he's behind me, and he scores, and all of a sudden we start doing the dirty bird.
Yep. If you don't know what the dirty bird, go look at the Atlanta Falcons dirty bird. Google that.
We start doing it, man, and see, it's like shit like that. It's
do you remember? So then we were playing this one team. Remember, we were playing No Fear in a tournament, and it was me and you, and so we were doing that. And they got mad, and I remember getting to third one time, and remember Matt gets the ball and chunks it right at me, and the third baseman's not looking, and it didn't hit me, but he was aiming at me, and I looked at, I saw it. And he's like, cut it out, right? So the very next, I score.
Yeah.
I score on the next play. And when I get home, me and you look at each other, and then we do the little like,
yeah, that's right.
We did that. And then that was our new move.
I remember
we would do that, and it would even get them more pissed off.
We were going to do it, yeah.
That's right. You had scored, and because they had brought in the right fielder, and I had burned him. Because Mac was like, come in, he can't hit that far. I burned him, got a triple. We started doing that, and then he throws the ball at me. So I was like, again, we're showboating. Yeah. They were showboating, but people don't take kindly to it, and people have reactions, and But we used to love to talk to people, bro.
Shit,
it was good stuff.
I do remember that.
It was good stuff.
We did the little Oh God, man, that brings up
good memories, good times.
So see,
good times.
I like the Little League, but I would like playing in we could probably if Kranky
If
was
Kranky
here,
was here,
oh my God, we have
some
even
stories.
more stories
Oh,
that we
yeah.
could tell. We could tell you 2 hours of stories that we had for
Yep.
fucking playing softball,
Yep.
dude. That's how it was, man. It was
Softball,
great.
baseball, everything, man.
It
There
was
were
great.
stories like crazy.
It was fucking great, man.
Yeah. Good times, guys.
Good times.
Good times.
Yeah, one day maybe we'll do it. We
Yeah,
should
that's
do it.
right.
Yeah,
We'll do
get everybody
we'll do a
together.
show of just nothing with that.
Oh my God. And yeah, that's that was us in our young days.
Yep. And we're back with a Papa Top.
It was good going over those stories. I'm sure.
Really good.
I'm sure somebody else would want to put in some of those stories as well.
And we're going to bring them in on that one pretty
and
soon.
we are, because we have with us
A special guest.
a special guest, somebody that hasn't been around in quite some time.
Yeah.
And we're very happy to have him back. Kranky,
Mr. Crankshaft himself.
what up, bro?
Am I on? Am I on the air?
You're
You're
on.
on the air, sir.
Oh, okay.
Just okay. Don't be, hold back your enthusiasm, please.
How y'all doing, fucker?
There he is.
He's back.
He's back. We're good, man.
Yeah, man. We talked about we actually talked about the Little League World Series. Did you see the ending?
No, who won?
California won, dude, on a
walk-off.
walk-off.
They beat the who?
They beat
Curacao.
Curacao.
Curacao, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they beat them 6-5, bottom of the
on a
sixth,
walk-off,
dude, on a
yep.
walk-off. So we were talking about that, but we wanted to touch on a subject. I know that we brought up in the group chat earlier. Inappropriate teacher-student relationships.
Yeah.
I think Kranky's got some. He's got some background on that. Does he? No.
Does he have
don't?
background?
No.
I don't know, man. I know there was a teacher he would have loved to have an inappropriate relationship with.
There was a lot of teachers. That
There's a lot of
know,
teachers.
and I'm sick and tired of this shit about women having inappropriate with guys, because who cares? It's with dudes, man. Like,
Well, there's certain laws that apply.
Do you ever hear about inappropriate men doing with little girls? No, never. It's always the women.
Well, we have, however, we think I think because we're men, we're like, oh yeah, that's not cool, right? But then when we hear it on the other side, I think like Kranky said on the thing, oh, you lucky bastard.
Lucky bastard, threesome. He had a threesome.
So if you don't know the backstory, man, there's a story about the Louisiana teachers, and I think it was back in 2019, if I'm not mistaken.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. So there were 2 teachers that were charged with an inappropriate relationship with a student. He was 16, and they had a threesome with him. And Kranky over here was like, "Man, that lucky bastard," right? Because they weren't fugly.
They were both hot.
Right, they were not ugly, so Kranky seems to think like this guy, he just got lucky, and there's gonna be people that are gonna have their different opinions, and Kranky has his. So, what do you think about that?
I thought that was recent. The threesome.
No, man, I thought that's the one that Pete Davidson did the spoof on.
I think I'm confused. I thought I was seeing it coming from a different area. So I know which one you're talking about, but I think the one that I put into the chat was more recent. So
those were the Louisiana ones, right?
Was it? No, I don't think so. But anyway, yeah, I mean, that was part of the SNL thing that I put in there.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
But I guess I don't know. I guess my thing is like, okay, how have things changed? Because I mean, what would have happened if it would have happened to us? What would happen if it would have happened to us when we were kids? Like, would we have said anything? How did they find out?
Because we would have bragged about it, like the way they do. They bragged about it. The one that gets me is the firefighter one. That bitch was hot, and she's over there screwing around with the freaking,
So I'm looking it up, right? And the most recent one I see is 2017.
Really?
And it was Louisiana. And I think that's the one that SNL did the spoof on, which is with Ronda Rousey, Pete Davidson.
Right. Yeah.
And I think they were making fun of it. But yeah, I mean, the way he does it in the video too, like he's literally bragging about it. He's he wasn't sorry about it, and he wasn't like feeling bad, and it wasn't like he was taken advantage of. He just felt he got lucky, And I think that's the way most guys, would probably feel at that age. What do you think, Kranky?
Oh yeah, of course.
Because you would have bragged about some of them.
I mean, we had our teachers back in the day, and I wish we could name them online. But
yeah, I guess I don't think we want to call them out right now on the air.
Yeah, and even in high school, we could name. I can name a couple, but no. But yeah, I mean, I would have bragged about it. I mean, who wouldn't have, right?
I think
but who are you to go tell your mom that I did this, so that way you can get that girl in trouble?
Let's get her in trouble, right? Yeah.
And I don't think he did. I think she found the messages on his phone, and that's why it got exposed, because she found it, and then she ended up going and reporting it, and then it just went from there. So I saw an episode of the George Lopez, the old one, right? The old show, and they have like a neighborhood watch thing, and they rush this sexual. You know how you got to report and you gotta
right.
So they rush one because they find one in their neighborhood, and they go, and when they get there, they're all angry. They all get to the door. The person opens the door, and it's a woman, all right, and she's not ugly, and they're like, oh, we're sorry to bother you, and all the women are like, wait, just because she's a woman, you're gonna let her go? The guys are like, well, yeah, I mean, it wasn't, the guy got lucky, the kid was lucky, and I think it's a biased,
I don't know. I guess, to me, it's maybe more of like it's a time, dude. Like, how many times did we hear about that happening? That actually got reported.
Oh yeah. No, we didn't hear about any
because
reports.
I'm sure it happened. I mean, you hear rumors. You hear rumors at school, dude. So you know that some things happen in high school or whatever, and nobody said nothing.
But you think about it now, all kids have cell phones, so they all have evidence.
Yeah.
Back in the day, there was no evidence. There was no nothing, no cell phones where they were texting these teachers or sending pictures to each other. It wasn't like that,
But my thing is, why is it the women that are getting exposed and not the men? Because men are doing it too.
Yeah, well, there was recently a guy. I think he was in the Judson ISD.
Yeah,
he got arrested just here recently, and I think there was one in New Braunfels too, who had 2 counts because it was 2 different students.
I'm guessing what he's saying is, which I think is actually true, is that there seems to be more attention,
correct,
ongoing attention that gets put on when it's a woman doing it to a young kid, a young boy or whatever, than it is when like the guy. I ain't mad at them,
and I ain't mad at them.
Well,
I'd rather be a woman than a man because we see the pictures; they're all hot.
Right? What's the first thing we say? Like, damn it! I wish they looked like that when we were in high school.
Exactly.
I think when we talk about when they talk about men and when it happens with the man, right, the male teacher, it's basically they're a pedophile.
Yeah.
Right. But then when you see it on the opposite spectrum, right, you see it on the opposite side, the women, it's like, God, that guy, that kid was lucky. Like, what the heck happened, right? And there does seem to be a lot of attention when it's the woman. It's like, oh my goodness, like she took advantage of this young boy.
It is because you hear about it more in the news. Like, I mean, it gets reported. Yeah, it'll be on the news. But then all of a sudden, you're like, oh, the court date was set for blah blah blah. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, you didn't hear about the court date for the guy. Like, you heard about it for the woman.
Yeah, and it's all over not only the news, but it's like international,
Yeah.
national news. You know, I'm like, what the heck? But the guy is like local.
Yeah,
it's a local thing.
Exactly.
But did she really take advantage of the guy?
Take advantage?
Did she actually take advantage of the kid? You know what? So like, here's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say this. I think the guys, when they start reaching that age, right? When they start hitting puberty, and they start,
Which is 9,
they get to their 15, 16 years old.
no, it's 9, 10.
9 or 10, according to Kranky. 9 or 10.
9 or 10 is we're watching the Rendezvous Theater.
We were looking
Yeah,
through
there you
through
go.
the channel 99 and trying to see through the wiggly lines.
That's the nipple.
You know, once they get to those ages, you know that's what's on their mind,
Yeah,
right? It's
yeah.
already on their mind. And I think for girls, it's a little bit later. I mean, you got some of them, that are thinking of that around that age. But I think for the girls, I think it's more once they get into their 20s. I think
Yes.
their sex drive kind of picks up.
Uh-huh.
And for the guys, for the males, it's a lot sooner.
A lot sooner, yeah,
And I think that's why we see a lot of this, because the females, again, they're at their sex drive peak in their 20s, and a lot of these teachers are in their 20s. And then you get these students that are 16, 17. And let's be honest, guys. Let's be honest. When you see some of these kids, right? Some of these boys.
Let's be honest.
Let's be honest. When you see some of these boys, bro, like these women are looking at them and thinking, hey, they're thinking the same thing we were thinking. Yeah. They didn't look like that when we were in high school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You think about it now, like when you see the girls now, and like, bro, like it was never like that.
So serious question, Kranky. So what do you think? Like what do you think is going through that woman's head? Like, what is it about that? Like, is it some sort of like twisted fantasy? What what do you think it is that goes through their freaking head that it says, I need to attack this 16-year-old kid?
I want to ask y'all the same question.
I really don't know, because I mean, you know in the back of your mind, you shouldn't be doing that, right?
You're talking about the women.
We're
of course.
talking about
Yeah.
well, either way.
Yeah, either
way.
yeah.
If it's a guy or male teacher or female teacher, you know that it's wrong.
Okay, here's a good question right here. What did the teachers that taught us? What made them hold back from us? That these women don't hold back from.
True. That's actually a good question. That's actually a good question.
That's actually good.
But you know what? Who's to say that they actually did hold back? Because like we said, there are rumors. There are rumors of people that we kind of have heard things about, and there was inappropriate relationships. I mean, both on the guys and the girls' side.
Oh, I missed those. What rumors are those?
those are gonna have to happen off.
Those are gonna happen offline.
No, but I've heard things. I've heard teachers that apparently partied out with athletes.
Well, when you think about like Varsity Blues,
and that was a whole point.
Yeah, like that wouldn't fly nowadays.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. That's one of our favorite movies. But like
American Pie,
Big.
Yes, Stifler's mom.
I mean,
Here's to you, Mrs. Robinson.
And you know what my question is, who initiated the conversation?
How does it get to that point?
How does it get to
that point?
Like, did the teacher initiate it? Did the student initiate it?
It's always a student, always.
So
You know what? I agree with that. I agree with Kranky.
Yeah,
I agree
because
with that.
why? What do they have to lose?
They're shooting
young.
their shot.
They're shooting their shot. We talked about that.
Yeah, they're shooting their shot, and they got what they wanted.
But what keeps it? I guess that's my question. Where is it in their brain that says it's okay to do it, and they just keep doing it? They should say stop. But why? Why don't they stop? I mean, I know Kranky wouldn't mind.
I just don't understand why they're so hot, the teachers.
Because I don't remember that, man.
I don't remember an ugly teacher being fucking,
I don't either.
That's
we were going to the wrong high school.
Yeah. I mean, think of the teachers we had, man. There was very select. Like if it ever got to that point.
Hey, the teachers we had, we would go into the classroom and they'd be like, "You need to go to the office and shave." Well, you need to also. I think those are the teachers we had. Golly.
You got more hair on your back than I do on my top lip.
Some of them had more hair on their chin than we did. God. Sending us to the office.
Kranky, man. We miss you, man.
Well, I don't want to go off subject and shit like that. I mean,
I think we pretty much buried this one, and we all agree that we hated our teachers, and it sucked that they didn't look like models. Apparently,
I mean, I wish all our teachers looked like the firefighter girl from Florida.
I'm gonna have to look that up. Louis,
the firefighter. So she had a relationship with the student.
No. Oh, I'm sorry, not the firefighter. Her husband was a firefighter.
Where did we hear about that one? Did
we
somebody
heard about
bring
that one we heard about that one? I think in May. I think it was early this year.
But she wasn't a cop, right? It was just him, the firefighter.
Her husband was a firefighter.
Yeah, and she was doing what?
She was a teacher,
and so she was having an inappropriate relationship.
Yeah, with the student.
Is that the one that they killed or something?
No.
All right, our stat guy is looking it up right now, trying to figure out which one exactly we're talking about. So I mean, what was the bit like? She was hot.
Yes. Yes, like hot.
A resounding yes.
Yes.
So Kranky wouldn't have said no. He would have just went along with it.
Oh yes.
Are you trying to seduce me?
Well, when I pull it up, there's quite a few in Florida. Golly,
they're all in Florida.
Yeah, you got a 26-year-old, you got a 33-year-old, you got a bunch of them, man, over there.
Wow.
They're all in Florida, man.
You were living in the wrong state, Kranky.
Yeah.
Freaking DeSantis. What the hell are you doing over there?
And he's running for president. Golly.
I know. Hell yeah. I'll vote for him. I'll vote for him in a minute.
I'll vote for him. If he's got a state like that, I'm going to move over there.
Exactly.
They must. I mean, it's Miami or it's Florida. I mean, as we know what the upside down pineapple means. Does anybody know what the upside down pineapple means?
Oh yeah.
I don't.
We're from the gallery
over here. I do.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure that happens a lot more. I'm sure in Florida than anywhere else because there's probably a lot of swingers in that state.
Yep.
I used to hear stories actually when I was working with the city, and when I was working with parking enforcement, I used to hear stories about some of the. Yeah, well, we'll see where this goes, but I used to hear stories about cops that that were deep into that stuff.
Oh, it still happens. It still happens.
Swingers.
So I got a question for y'all.
What's that?
Shoot.
Because y'all brought it up last segment, last episode, but y'all didn't touch on it. Y'all didn't touch on it at all. But y'all brought it up.
Okay.
What is a sugar daddy?
What is a sugar daddy?
What is a sugar daddy?
Yes.
Well, I can tell you it's not me.
So okay, just off the top of my head, no Googling, no 5 billion to 6 billion search.
70 million.
So a sugar daddy to me is basically someone who's providing and supplying some funds to a female.
Usually.
Right? But so here is where it gets the
Louis trying to dance around the answer.
Okay, yes, that's why I want to go.
Right? Because there's some that we hear that's like, oh, but there's no sexual relationship with them.
Exactly.
That's not sugar then.
Exactly.
That's not
You're
sugar.
right. You're right.
So what do you call it?
It's your daddy. It's a
daddy.
fucking dad.
Exactly. So then you're right. So it's somebody who's actually getting something from somebody. Well, you remember Dead Presidents,
Yes.
right? You remember the movie Dead Presidents? So that president, she had a sugar daddy. What was his name? Oh man.
Fucking. Damn it! I know his name too, man. Jesus.
I'm gonna look at that one right now.
I'll be the odd man out here. Unfortunately, I don't think I've even seen that movie.
You never seen that movie?
No, I'm gonna have to go see it now.
Man. That's a
good movie.
That's
man.
a good movie.
Classic. Yeah, I'm the odd man out.
So a sugar daddy. So Kranky is saying a sugar daddy is actually that somebody is getting sugar.
Money.
No. Sugar. He's getting the
sugar.
He's getting the sexual relationship part because he's providing money.
I see.
Because if he wasn't getting the sugar, then he would just be a daddy.
A daddy
is basically. Cuddy was the name.
Cuddy.
Yep. Cuddy was the name in Dead Presidents.
Cuddy.
Wow. Now I got to go see that movie then. I feel horrible now that I haven't seen that movie.
So if we look at the sugar daddy definition, it's a rich older man who lavishes gifts on a young woman in return for her company or sexual favors. So that's what a sugar daddy is.
Is that from the Urban Dictionary?
That is from Dictionary.
Check what Urban Dictionary has to say about it.
Let's see what Urban Dictionary has to say.
It's probably going to be way different than what you're saying.
All right, so Urban Dictionary says that it's a sugar daddy is a boyfriend who comes with financial benefits.
A boyfriend? Ain't no boyfriend.
And it says sugar benefactors can help to cover tuition, bills, lavishing gifts. They exist on 3 levels, right?
3 levels?
Yeah, so you have the sugar daddy, you have the honey daddy, and I forgot which other. So, but it's just saying that they shower their partner with cash and gifts, but often is limited to his income.
You have a broke daddy.
But it does say that he does get the sexual favors from them.
From the sugar daddy.
Yeah.
You see, and
so you saying it's me? So apparently I've been labeled a sugar daddy here before.
Sabrina in the gallery back there.
In the gallery over here saying, "Oh, so that's you." Well, I'm not gonna complain. I'm getting the sugar.
Oh, hey! This is a PG show,
especially in No Pants July.
God, no, yeah, that's way past.
It is,
and now it's an empty refrigerator.
August, golly.
It was a PG show.
Hey, it was a PG show. The Kranky's back.
It's true. She's like, hey, there's tuition that needs to be paid here pretty soon. Oh man. So yeah. Geez. So that's the sugar daddy, Crank. So why do you bring that up? Like why did you want to know?
No reason.
It's just because we wanted to make it clear of what it is.
I want to clear the air of what it is because I know I'm right.
Have you ever been a sugar daddy?
No, never.
No. You got your money goes other places.
Yeah, I've never been a sugar daddy, but I've been a daddy.
A very young daddy.
So you've paid for no services.
No comment.
Yeah, I'm thinking if I'm paying, man, I'm not gonna be paying for long if there's no sugar.
Yeah,
I lost my hat. I lost my hat because of that bitch, man.
Your hat?
Yes. Wait, you got to tell us that story because I don't think everybody knows that story, man.
I can't tell you that story because I got to tell you off air.
But you can give us the gist of it,
just real quick.
No, because then they'll know they'll put 2 and 2 together,
and they're gonna know exactly what this is.
2 and 2 together, he said.
Oh, Jello. It's 2 and 2 Jello.
Man,
we don't want to put 2 and 2 together.
So we know that Kranky lost the hat, and he didn't get sugar.
And he lost a lot more than that over the years.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Golly, man. Well, we're gonna need to bring you on because we were talking about it. Me and Porky were talking about. We started with the Little League World Series, and we ended with some softball stories.
Yeah, right? It went full circle.
Full circle,
pretty much.
And basically what we were talking about was the showboating and things that had happened, and so we were like, you know what, man. We have some stories, and between the 3 of us, we got some crazy stories of that going on, and We're gonna have to do probably a good whole segment or two on that because we got
Can you
tons
imagine?
of stuff. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah.
The trip. Were you with us in the van?
No. Not in the van.
Who was in the van? Do you remember?
Kranky, who was in the van?
Going to mission?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was in there? Who else
It
was
was
in
me.
there?
It was me, you Catfish.
Yep. Catfish. Demo.
And that other dude, right?
And David.
David. Yeah, David.
Yeah.
that's
No,
right.
because I think I was in the car with Checkmark on the way over there.
Oh, okay. Who was Checkmark?
Checkmark, the one that had the swish on the back of his neck.
Yeah.
Victor?
No, Chris.
No.
Oh, Chris. Is that
Yeah.
how he got thrown out of that strip club?
Yes.
No, that's another Chris.
Oh, okay,
different
okay,
one.
okay.
Well, no, because he had a girl that worked at a strip club.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Checkmark had a girl that worked at the strip
Then
club.
it was somebody
yeah,
else.
Yeah.
Oh my God! There's so many stories that we could talk about. You up for it?
I'm down. I'm down.
Down like the crown. He said. All right, man. Well, thanks for coming on. We miss you.
Yeah, I'm kind of upset that Roger gets more play than I do nowadays.
Hey, how many times have we told you? How many times have I told
Hey,
you?
and I'm pissed off. Sabrina gets more fucking play than I do too. You hear me, Sabrina? I know you're back there.
She can't hear
She
you.
can't hear you,
She
but
can't
we're
hear
telling
but
you.
we're gonna tell her. He's a little upset that you're getting more play than he does right now.
I hate having to take shots because you're your name on.
He keeps taking shots for you.
Yeah. All right.
Well, we're
dude.
gonna bring you on, man. You're gonna have
yeah.
to come in.
You're gonna have to come on so we can get the band back together.
Yep.
And shit, we'll have another roundtable.
Another round table.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was pretty cool. Bring
Yeah.
up stupid questions.
Yep. We'll do that, man. But hey, we appreciate you coming on.
All right, Kranky. We'll talk to you later, bro.
Okay, man. Y'all be safe.
All right, bro.
dude.
You too.
Later.
All right.
Oh my God, dude.
He's on another level, bro.
Oh, Kranky, man. We miss him.
We do miss him.
Yeah, man.
We do
He
miss
needs
him.
to be here, man. I miss
Yeah.
him. He needs to come back.
You know,
Don't get me wrong, Sabrina. I like you bring a ton to the show.
Yeah, you know, not only the women's perspective,
Of course.
but
exactly.
but also some of the technical, terms that we don't.
Yeah, like
she has a lot of. Well, I mean, she's got a degree, so she knows every fucking thing. So
the judiciary or period or what was it called? The fiduciary.
she's coming out with so many different things.
What is it? The three levels are
Oh, yeah.
judiciary, the president, the
The legislative she came out with every. No, you were talking about the period.
The period thing.
luteal phases, see,
See, I thought she was talking about the dinosaurs and the paleontology philanophysis phase.
The phalange. Oh, that's another Friends reference. Sorry, Mikey. Sorry.
See,
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Oh,
my God.
I think some of the double fist click.
I know.
I know. Sometimes, man, I hear where Kranky's coming from, man, and I know that he feels that he's like the kids would say. If we're gonna do a reference now,
Pause.
No, they would say they're ODing.
Oh shit.
So guess what ODing means?
Explain. You're gonna have to explain because I'm not even gonna try.
So the kids use OD as overdoing it. Oh, you're just ODing. You're just ODing. And I'm like, OD back in the day,
man,
was totally something different.
You know what fentanyl is, right?
Yes, exactly. But they say
Yeah.
that, and so a lot of people feel that I think he feels it more, but he feels that he overdoes it, and
He thinks he does.
Yeah, he does, and yes, he can be over the top sometimes. However, it's not a bad thing, because he brings a different level.
He does.
to our conversation, to the show, to the banter, to the debates. He brings not only a different perspective, but he brings another level, and I think it's a level that I don't think you and I get to.
No,
at all.
What?
And
Why he?
like even just a 3-word response from him sometimes is so crazy, and we're like, bro, we literally thought that, but you literally let it out. You know what I mean? And I think that's what we miss from him sometimes.
Man.
So yeah, it's we get him back. We get him back.
Cerebral assassin. That was my
Exactly.
nickname
Yes,
for him.
yes,
The
the
cerebral,
cerebral
assassin.
assassin.
Because that dude brings up stuff and it's like, where did you get
Yes.
It's like that question. What we were talking about, he brought up that question
Yeah,
and we're
what's
all
the
like,
sugar? We're like,
yeah, okay. Like, yeah.
Yeah, he's and it's
That's
literally off the top of his head.
Exactly,
just no
dude.
preparation.
Man.
It just comes out, and
That's why we miss him, man.
Yeah, I think it's good, man.
All right. Maybe he's just taking a little break. We'll bring him.
Yeah,
He'll be
we'll get him back in. We'll get him back in.
All right, man. Well, definitely a crazy way to end the show,
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
We bring Kranky on. We miss you, dude.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everybody for listening.
Next week we'll go over comments.
Yeah, comments. Yeah, we left that. Oh my God,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
actually kind of had a structure
Yeah,
for this episode. And we said, okay, we're gonna touch on this, and we're gonna touch on that, and then let's go here, and then we just went, wah,
yeah, we derailed.
and it was off the tracks. So comments next week, because we did have something that we posted on Facebook
And Instagram and stuff. So, yeah.
But again, thanks everybody for listening. Find us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Spotify. Please go to Spotify.
Share your
And
comments.
you know what? I'm not gonna be ashamed. If you go to our page, which actually I'll post it in the Facebook page, you can donate
To the cause.
to the cause if you want. I am not ashamed.
Because these flights are not cheap.
Yeah, that's there's a budget that goes on behind the scenes that you don't know
Exactly.
about. We need a constant can pop.
Exactly.
We need a pop a top every time.
That's right.
So we need that. We need the money. We need just imagine if it was like that commercial you would see like at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning where that guy would come out and he'd be like, just for 19 cents a day, if you just volunteer to bring. See, I mean, just think about it. $4.99 a month. $4.99 a month. You get more of us, and we might even, Louie might even do what you want.
Maybe with permission.
Wait, he's got to ask Sabrina first. I'm sorry. Did she say what the fuck? She's like, wait a minute. Whoa.
We're happy to get the kind of money that jingles, but we'd rather get the kind that folds.
We prefer the one that says Cash App.
If you don't know what that's from Coming to America. So
Okay. All right. We're
go to the
done.
link.
Hey, we had
Linktree.
Linktree.
Yep,
Yeah,
go to
you can
Linktree.
donate there too, man. Come on, people. Don't you love us? If you don't do it,
We're not gonna be like the other podcaster that is keeping all the donations and not giving them away. We'll touch on that later. We'll touch on that on the next episode. How about that?
He went there.
Yeah, I
and
went
with that, ladies and gentlemen, bam.
Sayonara.
We'll talk to you later, bro.